Hello, everybody. We're going to do another state of the channel video, kind of going over how I took the suggestions the last couple days, or well, yeah, last 24 hours or so, and kind of give you what I'm thinking of doing. And starting next week, we'll do it starting Sunday. First things first, we're going to no longer do no daily recaps, no daily dose. Clearly, that content is not working. People don't like it. Outside of maybe LEC views, clearly the views dipped after LEC was done. LCK, LPL, and LCS fans just aren't as adamant about it. People aren't as interested in other regions. Around international events, a lot of people watch my content. More than the daily dose. So that's where they get their information about players and things like that. But I do think I'm going to change this from the daily dose format to a weekly format. Now, the way I'm thinking to do this, so I had two suggestions. One was that, do a video series about a region. I think Lai was the one who suggested it. And it was about LEC, but I do not do content about one specific major region. I am unbiased when it comes to teams and regions, so I do all four major regions equally, and then the minor regions are on the back burner because I simply don't have the time. So what I'm going to do is we're going to do weekly videos about each region. So for instance, next week, my intentions are Sunday, LPL. So Sunday, and the video will be an LPL weekly recap. Now Monday is the power rankings. I have that already set. So top 25 is Monday. That changes, of course, based on when I can fit that video in around my work schedule, because that video does take longer than any other video, but the new recaps are going to be different. So for instance, the LPL recap, what it will be is the looking at the last week's series, all 17 teams, for instance, or LCK and LEC 10, LCS 8, and their records, who they played, and some stats, maybe the best player, KDA and damage wise on each team, and we'll do that. So that will be team by team, best player on each team, but also I'm going to have top performers in those videos. I'm going to keep track of the stats. LPL is the biggest pain in the ass because the LPL doesn't like giving us statistics. So I'm hoping to be able to do more than just the very bare minimum I get from Game of Legend or Oracle Elixir, but it is what it is. So it'll be also top performers. In the top performers, if you recall my top performers series from when I was doing this as my goal or whatever, if you will, before I started working, was that we took the top players statistically in each role, in each major region, and went over their stats. Now I'm going to do that again. And one of the suggestions was that one of the comments actually was that I am the rational guy, if you will. I'm the stats guy, analytics guy, not emotional when it comes to trying to make a difference between players. I try my best not to do that, and be as unbiased as possible. Kind of keep everybody grounded. This is what's happening statistically, and we'll see if there are trends and things like that. And that's another thing that we'll go over trend-wise. But best players relative to their team and relative to the region and role. which surprises a lot of people because they'll be like, why is that player up there? They're on a bad team. And it's like, well, they dealt like 35% of their team's damage all week. I would say they were the best player on that team and maybe the most important player in that role that week. So that's how we'll do that, the recaps. And so this week, only because this is the top 25, Tuesday will be LCK. Recap. Of course, it does suck. It's at this point in the regular season, but hey, if it doesn't work, then we'll see what happens. So LCK Tuesday. If the top 25 wasn't happening, it would be Monday. It wouldn't be the day before the next week, or a few hours before the next week, because I would prefer it to be shortly after the week completed. So Tuesday, Wednesday we'll do. We'll do LEC, and then Thursday LCS. So we got 4 days already situated, right? 4 of the 7 days, because I am going to continue the daily content either way. Power rankings, obviously, aren't always every week. I would prefer them to be every week, but due to my work schedule, it just really isn't feasible. Maybe I can do Monday, Sunday. I mean, I would prefer not to, because then I'd move this to here, and the LPL plays every day. So actually, LPL I want to keep on Sunday. Thursday LCS. That leaves Friday and Saturday, and I'm wondering about Gerb suggested he'd like the patch videos back. I also think the patch videos would be nice to bring back. The champion win rate videos, those were more statistic based. And as long as I keep up to date on that stuff and fill out the board, we can go over it. So the win rate stuff, the most picked by region. We go, if you weren't here at that time, I would take a patch. There's stuff on my channel from like season 12 and season 13 where I would go over the most common matchups in the champion matchups and go over the win rate and be like, oh, well, this is the win rate. This is the win rate in solo queue. Let's compare it. Let's also look at Western region and Eastern region. So LCK, LPL, and LEC, LCS, East, West. And just go over that when the patches are up, as well as patch previews. So those will return. And the thing is, I guess we'll do it over here instead of over there. What would the patch preview be similar to what it was before? These are the champions that are buffed. These are the champions that are nerfed, and who benefits and who is hurt by it. I don't get into what is going to. I think actually what we're going to do. Another idea included in this, by the way. Let's look at this as well. A trend video. So. I don't think I should even call it placebo. But let's just go placebo real. And by that I mean, so for instance, let's say, just to go random. So Azir gets nerfed, right? Azir gets nerfed, let's say on 14-7, right? And we say to ourselves, okay, Azir has 85% presence right now on patch 14.6. Now it's been nerfed. Let's see if after 14.7's done, if the nerf was effective or not in terms of presence, in terms of ban presence and pick presence. And we can also look at that and say to ourselves, this champion is now banned less, but it's picked more. Okay, well, so it hasn't dropped out of everybody's, wheelhouse, if you will, or specifically maybe which teams did it drop out of, right? Which teams maybe it's real adventurous if I had the time to go and look at it and be like, okay, this team now isn't seeing Azir banned against them, but they're not picking it, right? So they must think Azir stinks now. That nerf was effective, at least against that team, right? That team does not care. That mid laner is no longer interested, where maybe other teams say, you know what, actually we're going to pick it more, and then you say to yourself, okay, well, it's been nerfed, but not nerfed to the point where teams don't want to play it. It's just nerfed to the point where other teams are willing to play into it, or maybe it doesn't work at all, right? Because some nerfs don't affect anything, and excuse me, my nose itches, and some buffs don't affect anything. And a lot of people want to say, oh well, this buff's not going to mean shit. This nerf is irrelevant, and this or that. And it's like, okay, well, what do the stats say? Well, my solo queue experience. Solo queue is not the same as pro play. I don't care how much you want to pretend to be, messy when you go play in some random patch of grass out in the middle of no man's land and kick the ball into the net and think, oh, I'm messy. Like, that's not, like, come on. When you go on the Rift and you play, you are not Faker. You are not Chovy. You are some random person playing solo queue. Solo queue is not the same as pro play. But I do think that something like the win rate thing to look at, how it is, how it may be differ from solo queue to pro play is something to note too, because we did see sometimes, oh, well, this champion's a lot harder to play. That's why in pro play it's more effective than solo queue. We can kind of go over that stuff and see what happens. Other things, I mean, I thought about that podcast idea. The problem is with that is that would have to be a day off thing because it takes so long to do something like that. To do like an hour long thing where I'm just rambling. And then I don't even know how I would want to do it because the only way I would really like to think about doing it is to say, you got a podcast, you take this concept, the patch preview concept, and you put it into a podcast. And you say, I have a top laner, a jungler, a mid laner, a bot laner, and a support. Each of us, one at a time, we discuss. So it'd be 5 parts where it's discussed, okay, these are the champions that play top lane or are top lane, go over top. Not go over top, but our top laners. Now, that person in the role, let's discuss it. What do you think of these? Is it going to do anything? Do you think that, our champions going to be played more or less as a result of this? Are they better or stronger? Item stuff I really don't go over all that much, to be honest. I guess I can look at items, what champions play that item the most right now, and then be like, okay, because of this champion is going to be stronger by proxy. Just something to think about. And, if I have to fill things in, Hall of Fame videos are backed up quite a bit. I think I've got through like maybe 15 of what are like, I think I have like 78 players worth of videos. So I can do those. Those don't usually get that many views, but to fill in content, I could do that. Plus, I also could do minor region power rankings again. I do think that's something to think about. To throw in here, keep in mind, minor region power rankings returning does not mean I'm watching them. I'm probably going to do it in a analytical form as well. Once again, just something to think about. We'll see how it goes for a couple weeks. Next week, this is kind of the way I'm looking at it, though, because I think patch 14.4 is coming up. Whether LCS plays it tomorrow or not, remains to be seen. I guess I could maybe even do this. Well, actually, I can't. I don't know when they're done. Maybe I could do a patch preview on 14.4 tomorrow. I'm not sure yet about what tomorrow's video will be. But starting Sunday will be the LPL thing where we do team by team, best on team, top performers. I'm going to use stats since my last daily dose for these 4 recap videos. LEC will be this upcoming week, but you LCS I may not have to do either in that regard. We'll see. Yeah, so that's it. If you have any more suggestions, comment down below. There were others. I know Gerb also mentioned the Dynasty. I'm just wondering how much interest there'd be in the Dynasty League of I brought it up, but I wonder how much interest there'd be from randoms. I also am going to utilize, Google has a thing where you can like look up where content gaps are, and if there's something that appeals to me, maybe I'll do a random video on it. Most of the stuff seems pretty bad though. It's like, do a funny thing with this or that. I'm not that type of person. Oh, another thing, tier lists. Should have mentioned this in the beginning. I'm not a fan of tier lists. I'm really not. I think tier lists are overused. I understand tier lists are the fad, which is what's getting the views. So, do you want views or do you not? Is definitely something to bring up when it comes to tier lists. But the thing is, like, tier lists, in regards to players and teams, are extremely meta dependent when they happen too often. Like the power rankings are kind of like a tier list, right? I'm telling you who the teams are that I consider to be in the top 8, maybe S tier, A tier, and B tier, right? You kind of can make that out almost, if you will. So there's that. But in addition, like, I'm not going to say, oh, well, this player's performing better than this player, so they're higher on my tier list. It's like, this meta right now, they've played 9 games this month. I'm not going to say, oh, well, they played 9 off this month, so off of those 9 games, this is going to change. Like, not a lot should change, in my opinion. Small sample sizes should not change your opinion. That's being too reactionary. Like I said, in my opinion. So, tier lists to me are like that. I'm not a massive fan of them. I think that they're just too... I mean, your favorite personality is going to try and win you over with charisma, with personality, with exaggeration and things like that. And I'm just not really about that. Once in a while, I'll troll people and just go, on a line of thinking that isn't even really my own. But at the same time, I don't really like doing that. And it's just not who I am. I'm more of a straight up, these are the numbers kind of person. This is what it is. I'm going to go by the numbers. Obviously, I'm watching all the games still. I'm also thinking maybe best on team and maybe their best play of the week, in my opinion. I'm thinking about doing that. Because someone did mention that, like, oh, put down best plays of a game or whatever. I think Jim, I don't know who it is on the Discord. It's somebody on the Discord, and their name is Jim in the comment section. But they said, do mention what are the highlight plays, and we'll go look it up on our own, like the timestamp or whatever. And I might do that for top performers. Or best on team, I don't know. Because, 15 players in LPL versus 17 players in LPL isn't that big of a difference. But yeah, I think that this will be less intense. Less intense. I can do what I need to do content-wise, hopefully get more views. I also am trying to work on my class stuff. The exam is in a couple months, and I do want to pass that, and I'm going to need to put some effort into that. So, I need to kind of change things. Lastly, members only videos. I had somebody that's a member say they wanted me to change those. I'm not changing my members only content. It is predictions, just so people can't steal my predictions for the Discord. Now, I could have done that for free and put it members only, but then, if you're going to steal them for the Discord, you're going to pay for them. And not only that, and this person did say they gamble. I do not advocate gambling because I cannot make sure that the person discussing gambling with me is somebody that is legally doing it. A lot of people like to get cute with VPNs and things like that, or evade taxes, or do this or that, and I want no part of that. So, my prediction videos are not for those that do DFS. If you do DFS and use my predictions, you're only, as far as I'm concerned, I don't want to know. Only if you're going to participate in those sort of things, do it in a legal manner. And I'm not going to give you any extra tips and tricks on how to do that. Because as far as I'm concerned, I can't ensure that you're doing it legally, and therefore I want no part of it. So that's it for this video. Like I said, suggest down below with your thoughts, and hope to see you again tomorrow.